Go ahead.
Okay, as far as gold and silver, I haven't talked. It's just kind of it's clawing its way back up again. Yes, it was up $100. I think it's past. It was in a lull, and I think it's heading north. There's enough shit going on in the world that's putting the price pressure rather on gold and silver that's going to start to move. But let me tell you a story. I talked to a gentleman today, a friend of mine who's Indian, and here's something you don't really think about, but he gave me a firsthand experience because his family is in India. And a lot of Indians, to make a better living, it's difficult to make a living in if you're just kind of a general laborer or a worker in India. So they go to Qatar and they go to Saudi Arabia and they work over there. It's not high labor work, but they work over there. He was telling me they're all gone. Nothing's happening in Saudi Arabia now. Nothing's happening in Qatar. Nothing's happening in what was the other one? I'll think of the other name in a minute. Anyway, nothing is happening. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Planes are not flying in and out, so they're going back to India. Now, here's the problem. This is the real interesting one. Everybody talks about the Strait of Hormuz and oil. And what he was telling me, it's not oil, it's natural gas. It's the problem for India. Now, India's got, well, I don't know, 2 million billion people. Is that the way that they use cooking fuel, which is natural gas, they come in canisters, like things that you put when you work on your grill. They're running out. There is none. They can't get it. They literally cannot get it. Now they're trying to work with the Russians to see if they can get some from the Russians because the Russians have a lot of natural gas. So these are billions, one or 2 billion. I don't know what it is. 2 billion, I guess it is. Anyway, that's what they're worried about because they can't eat. And I said, well, what about driving your car around? I said, what's the price for a gallon of gas? He said, first off, it's a liter and you can't get it. He said, you can get it, but you're going to wait in a line that's going to be a mile and a half long. And the priority is truckers who are bringing in food and produce and whatever. That's so this part of it. And he said, here's the big one. The big one, this is the time of the year they start to plant. So they get their crops in there so they can start harvesting at the end of the summer and the fall and they use them for next year. And guess what? No fertilizer. And you're talking about 1 billion people who had no fertilizer. Now I heard someplace else because people don't um, talk about fertilizer, but Africa. If Africa doesn't get the fertilizer they need now, and contrary to, I'll talk about that in a minute, and they could possibly have a famine in Africa because of. I'll be back.